Yo, what's up guys, BY Gaming here. So in this video I basically wanted to give an update on this new breeding event and show you guys that I got Super Dream, which is right here. You can see the smiley face right here sitting on the hatchery. So it actually took me about, I believe, 6 tries with the Greenosaur and Fire Kong combination, as you can see, right? We got Hedgies, Mudflow, just a bunch of monsters that aren't even listed on the potential outcomes for the combinations. And that's actually one of the topics of this video that I wanted to get into, which is the fact that if you take a look at the Dream Team breeding event, as well as, of course, previous events as well, you will see here that oftentimes it's Fire Kong, Greenosaur, and you get something specific. This is for the book, Dream Team breeding event book, where you can get, extra rewards if you finish it. And, typically there are a lot of similar combinations, like the Pandakin and Tarzape is also one of them that usually is there. And you can see right here that they list off, like, you get Super Dream from breeding Fire Kong and Greenosaur together. You can get Satman for doing Pandakin and Tarzape, Oros plus White Pandolph, or Violet. The Joker can result in Super Dream, or Carlo Cambino, I don't know how to say this, but you get the idea, and so on and so forth. And one of the issues I have with these breeding events is just the fact that you spawn random monsters, like rare monsters, like Hedgies, which is probably one of my least favorite monsters by now, just because of the fact that it clogs up the hatchery and it has nothing to do with the breeding combinations whatsoever, and, random epics as well, right? And not the target monsters. And I think that this is one of the biggest problems that I have with these breeding events, is the fact that these random monsters can actually spawn from doing the pairings. And I don't really see why this is necessary at all. Number one, they're not even listed here. So it's like, if you're gonna, make this happen, at least put a warning here that you don't get one of these monsters every single time you do the combinations. But in general, I believe that you should just get these monsters for doing the specific combinations. So if you breed Fire Kong and Greenosaur, I believe you should get Super Dream with a 100% breeding rate. Because, a lot of people may be like, why would you want that, right? It's way too OP at that point. But it's like, it wouldn't really be if you think about it, because the hatchery only has a max of 4 slots, and you can have maybe 5 if you get the Legends Pass, but even if you don't have it, you can only get up to 4 monsters at a time. And even if you have the Breeding Guardian active, and that knocks off 80% of the breeding time, there is still a limit on how many of these breedings you can do within 2 days, especially with the hatchery getting clogged up like this, right? So if you really think about it, there is still a limit to how many monsters you could breed. And even if you bred like tons of Super Dreams or something like that, it's like, that's not nearly enough to get the monster ranked up to any kind of, sustainable rank anyway. Getting it to rank 5 still takes so many cells, and even if you could just, breed an unlimited amount of them, it's not even like it would get you all that far within a week, right? You would clog up the hatchery, you would have to wait for it, or speed it up for gems, and, for some people, that's just not an option. So there'd still be a healthy limit, even if you got only these monsters from the breeding events anyway. And, there would hardly be time to complete them all, even if you could try every single thing here, right? Some of them have 2 potential outcomes, and so just by combining monsters, even with the Breeding Guardian active, there's a huge limit to what you can accomplish, even if these specific combinations resulted in exactly what the outcomes said they would result in, right? So if you could only get Satman or Vanos 2099 from doing Vatamagma and Roctanium, there would still be a limit to how many of these things you could get, because, again, the hatchery clogs up for 2 days or so. And, for some people who start off the game, they may only have 1 slot on the hatchery, or 2, or maybe 3 max, right? So, there is going to be a healthy limit, and I definitely feel like if they're going to actually do these breeding events, they should make it so that you only get the monsters that are here, not the Hedgies, not other rare monsters, not epic monsters, because ultimately we all have no use for that stuff. Maybe if you're a beginning player, you might have some level of utility for that, but the moment you get mythic monsters and legendaries, you're not going to care about any other rarity. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter, at least for combat purposes. So I really feel like they shouldn't do this. They should just take away this weird gimmick where you get all these monsters that have nothing to do with the breeding events as kind of blanks, so to speak, and just let us breed every single thing that's here, so long as we do the correct combination. We get one of the monsters that's listed here. I feel like that would help a lot more. It would decrease the incentive to buy things, but it doesn't matter. I mean, would that be so bad is the question, right? If you kept breeding like Super Dreams and you got like 3, 4, or 5, I mean, that would still be, kind of a stretch to get like 4 or 5 of these things. If you only went for one of them, that'd be, one story, because then you could just use all those Super Dream cells to kind of rank it up. But, you would need 7 of them to get the monster to rank 2, right? And it's like, even with a 100% breeding chance, it would be kind of difficult to do all this, right? And you can forget about getting it to rank 5 with its own cells just from getting 100 for each one. So unless you're willing to really just plow through like thousands of gems or something. So I really feel like, they nerfed these breeding events so darn hard by, putting in those blank monsters, and they really ought to take them out. So if you're watching this, Social Point, please do something about these breeding events, and, make it so that whatever's here is the only thing that you can get. So if you combine Fire Kong and Venusaur, you get Super Dream with a 100% breeding rate. Doesn't matter because it still takes 9 hours, 11 minutes, even with the Breeding Guardian active, and, what is it, like almost 2 days without one? So say you don't, for example, have the Breeding Guardian active, well then you can do, a couple of breedings and still get Super Dream to like rank 1 or something like that, maybe rank 2. What's the, I don't really get what the problem is with that. It's not like these things are hyper utilizable anyway, even at rank 1 or 2. So it's like, why not just give it to people? Same thing with completing the books. It's not like the rewards are that outstanding. You just get a bunch of Nebula and, some, I think it's like a diamond relic and whatever the case may be. So I really don't understand why they're making it to the point where you actually have to spend gems to, get even some of these monsters, because I've actually done that before. To get a lot of these combinations to work, you have to plow through like 1,000 gems or something like that. I've actually done it before, and it's just completely unnecessary in my opinion. So if they took out the random blanks and just, made it so that you got every single monster that was here every single time you did the combination, so it's like for the 2 of them you get one or the other, that would be so great. And I just don't see why that can't happen. It does work for example, the quest breedings and stuff like that. They only have like 4 monsters, and you do get one of the 4 guaranteed every single time you do the combination. So I don't know why that can't happen here as well. And for that reason, I'm not going to give this breeding event a very high score on the fun metric here. The quest is one of my favorites just because you get so many awesome monsters. This one though, like the beginning breeding event for the YouTube monsters and whatever the case is in the very beginning of the Legends Pass, I am not a fan of it whatsoever. It's very, very restricted, and you can see here it took me 6 tries just to get 1 Super Dream, and it's a monster I probably will not ever use because better monsters come out all the time. You feel me? So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I just had a short little rant. It took me 6 tries to get Super Dream, and they really ought to do something so that you can actually just get whatever is listed here during the breeding events. So if you are, actually being proactive, you can easily complete the book within the week, or maybe, spend remaining gems or something like that on getting these monsters from the challenges, those like progressive paths or something like that, later in the season. Not the progressive paths, but you know what I mean, like the Tales-like events, whatever the case is. If you miss one, that's fine, but it's like, make it so that there's actually a chance to finish it just during the breeding event. I don't see what the problem is with that. If you go to the library here, you can basically see what you get, right? If you finish this book, you get, it's the same thing as always, 250 Nebula. It used to be Ludum, right? You get one, was this a legendary chest? Or no, Dream Team chest. So you get, okay, a guaranteed 100 Super Dream, 100 Satman, or 100 Mr. Not Found cells, and a diamond relic. Is that really worth all the crazy things you have to go through to finish this book if you don't have these monsters? No, not really. Not in my opinion anyway, right? I have done it before for, I believe it was ZHC, and I have completed some other books as well, but it's not always as easy as it seems, and it shouldn't be for the lackluster rewards you get from it. I have pretty much almost all the diamond relics and multiple copies of some of the best ones, so it's like, this doesn't really appeal to me all that much anymore, and I feel like that being the case, they should just make it easier to finish these things. 250 Nebula, that's not getting you very far. That's like enough to rank up a monster from unranked to level 1. Alright, so that's like, it's just ridiculous. They gotta stop being so stingy and just give back to the players, all right? Stop clogging up my hatchery with hedgies, hashtag stop hedgie, and yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this rant, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and also don't forget to comment about this issue yourself if you find it annoying, all right? So that's it for me. I'm out. Peace.